Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to our webinar series. Today, Wednesday, May 15th. My name is Emma Claire Polich, and I'm so excited to be hosting this webinar for our Jolt customers today, and especially this webinar about our updated scheduling experience for Jolt. Today, I am joined by our amazing guest speaker, Michael Slater. Hey, Michael, how are you today?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Beautiful weather here in Utah. Can't complain too much. Michael is the VP of product here at Jolt and has been spearheading this feature update for the past several months. And I'm eager to dive into this discussion with him today. So Michael, I'm so excited that you are our product expert, and that you are here joining us on this webinar today. And just so our customers can get to know you a little better, how long have you been with Jolt, and what are you personally most excited about with this product update?
Yeah, great questions. So I've been with Jolt for 9 years, and so I've really been there since our pretty early days. I was heavily involved with our sales and customer support, and have kind of seen as we've launched new products and brought on all sorts of different types of customers and how they've used the product. And so that's really helped me get a good overall, holistic view of the scheduling product and how it fits into Jolt's suite of products and how our customers are using it. And I'm really excited for this update because we really have taken the mobile experience to a whole new level. We haven't really overhauled a product in the same way that we just did for the scheduling experience in to this level before. So it's just really exciting, the benefits that we're seeing come out of that.
Oh, I love it. And hopefully we'll have you for another 9 years if you'll stay around with all of your exciting input and product feedback that you've been getting. I'm so excited to show you guys this experience as well. Just a few housekeeping rules. This is going to be recorded, and we'll be able to send out this recording to you all afterwards, just in case someone from your team was not able to attend today. Also, we're going to be having a brief Q&A session at the end in case any questions come up throughout the presentation. Also, with that, feel free to drop those in to our chat feature. We have that being monitored as well throughout the presentation, and we will get to as many of those as we can as well. With that being said, let's get rolling with this awesome discussion today. So, Michael, what was the process that you guys went through on the product side when approaching the redesign of the scheduling, especially in the mobile app?
Yeah. So we started by just kind of analyzing the landscape, right? Where are we at with this mobile scheduling experience? And what are the common challenges and pain points that people have, and how can we solve those? And we did a lot of customer interviews. We looked at all the feedback on our feedback portal and looked at what the top requests are, what people were saying. We read every single comment. We reached out to people to get more information, and we started designing and sharing the designs with customers and getting feedback. We started building and testing, and we're still going through some of that process as we're continuing to develop and refine it. We've got a number of customers that I work with, almost every week, getting feedback and continuing to iterate so that we could make sure that this product really delivered on its value prop, which you've got up there, right? We really need to make sure that we're saving people time, we're making it as easy as possible, and eliminating that hassle that people deal with when managing all the moving parts of their schedule, so that they can focus on maximizing their profits. And so that's kind of the overall process.
I love that. I love that you are really taking the time to hear from our customer base, get their feedback. With that feedback, what were you really wanting to incorporate from what maybe was a most common trend from our customers?
Yeah, so there are a few things that stood out, right? Just the ease of use is kind of an overall thing. just making this as simple as possible. We know that our customers have employees from very diverse backgrounds, and we just need to make this as easy as possible for everyone. So that was a big theme going into it, is how do we make it easier to use? And one of the top requests in our feedback portal revolved around inputting availability. And so that's been a big focus that we could talk about, is improving how that whole system works, and really making it, again, as easy as possible.
I love that. Ease makes life better, especially in our customers' lives, with their scheduling. No one wants to be sitting behind a desk, like approving, denying all of these things. We want to kind of make sure that's on the back burner and they can focus on the more important things as well. My last question for you before we start diving in on this tour is, what is the functionality of the scheduling new update feature with the other features that are already with Jolt?
Yeah, so this specific update is all about the mobile app scheduling experience. And so we are doing some updates to the schedule builder as well in parallel, but the vast majority of what we're talking about today is just the mobile app and the scheduling portion of that mobile app. We do have plans, of course, to continue to improve all our other products as well. But that's what we're here to talk about today.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, with all of that being said, Michael, let's do a walkthrough on my simulator to show everyone who's joined us today what this is going to look like for their customer, or for their employees, I should say. Can you see my screen here? All right.
Yep, sure can.
Great. Okay, so right now I am in the employee view. So I'm actually logged in as one of my test employees. And so going into the scheduler, it's going to be on that left side. And then, Michael, I'm seeing an awesome new view on this dashboard. I think this has been live for a couple of weeks now, but looking at this, what did we decide to put on our dashboard, and what should we really be looking at as an employee?
Yeah, great question. So one thing right off the bat, I noticed you're on a shared version of the app. We do have two versions, and the shared version is optimized for multiple people logging in and out and sharing like a tablet at the store, which we've made this so that it will adapt to whoever logs in, right? So if on a personal version, it's always going to be personalized to, like on my mobile phone, I'm set up as a personal device and it's always my stuff and my stuff only. But here on your tablet, this dashboard is going to adapt based on whoever logs in. And in all of our research and interviews, we tried to pinpoint, what are the most important pieces of information that an employee needs to get when it comes to the schedule. And we tried to make a dashboard that could easily communicate those pieces of information and facilitate the most important jobs that they needed to do. We tried to keep it simple, yet functional. So first thing right off the bat, you're going to get the schedule notice. Well, actually, before that, you're going to get a message, hey, you're not working today. So we're going to answer that question right off the bat. If you were working today, it would tell you something about what's going on today, right? And say you have a shift coming up or your shift is in progress. But after that, you're going to get any communication that your manager has put out in the schedule notice. So this is something that the manager has decided, hey, we really need employees to see this when they're checking their schedule because it's that important. So we've got a little notice in there about Mother's Day. Obviously, the managers have full control over what to put in that notice. And then you're going to get your next shifts. We're not going to dump the whole schedule on you and overwhelm you. We're just going to simplify it to just your first 3 shifts that are coming up. So you can say, okay, this is what's coming up. But if you want to see more, you can dive in and see your whole schedule. And then after that, you're going to see what's been going on with my requests. If I've made requests to trade shifts or time off availability, that activity is going to show up here. So you can see, hey, I've got one request that's still waiting on the manager. I've got another request that got denied, and you can tap in and see what the manager had to say about that. So eliminating the need for employees to go bother the manager and ask them, hey, what's going on, right? They got their status update right here.
That's
And then
awesome.
next thing, employees often told us, hey, how can I pick up more shifts? Well, we made it really easy. You want to work extra hours, you want to pick up some more money, right here on the dashboard, we're going to surface any shifts that are available that match your schedule, that don't conflict with your existing schedule. So you don't have to think about whether or not it works. It's just going to surface those for you immediately. And then the last thing, we've got your time off. Time off, we know managing time off is a big hassle for a lot of businesses. And employees are constantly asking, hey, can I have time off? What's the status? Is that approved or denied? We've got it right here on the dashboard, so they always know what's going on.
This is so great. If I'm going to be honest, this is so user friendly. I mean, this is inviting, it's welcoming, it gives me everything as an employee that I might need. And instead of, like you said, bugging my manager, I can just have that information at my fingertips. This schedule notice is fantastic, Michael. I know sometimes it gets emailed out or it's texted out with the schedule, or it's sent out that way, but having it a part of the app experience is, I think, going to be super beneficial for our Jolt users. This is great. I love the dashboard. I could hang out here all day. Looking at these, if let's just like walk through this on the employee side again. So I'm not logged in as a manager yet. But looking at this, if we look at the next shifts, this is just our shifts that we have been scheduled. So things that you build on the web portal. And then, like you said, you can view all shifts and it takes us into this week. This is great. Now, Michael, looking at this view, I'm noticing that there is a couple of different icons happening here. Can you just tell me a little bit more about what these check marks are, what these arrows are, something about today? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so over time, as employees look at this, they're going to learn this really easy. We've tested it a lot, and people just naturally start to get it as soon as they get used to it. Once you see those check marks, you can immediately know that, okay, those are shifts in the past, they're already done, right? So then you've got your marker for today, and then you've got a trade pending for Thursday. And so you know that that's been a trade that's been requested, but it's not yet approved. And then on Saturday, you can see you've got kind of the dotted lines, and that is the shift that you will get if that trade is approved, right? So you're currently scheduled for Thursday, that's your shift. And if you tap in there, it'll tell you you're still responsible to work that shift until the manager approves it. And you can
That's
cancel
awesome.
that trade, right? You can see what the details are, who you're working with. But this just makes it really easy for the employee to know exactly what's going on with their schedule at any point in time.
I love that. That is so cool. I like the fact that you can say, hey, maybe something is still pending. I put that trade shift in, but I do like the fact that you can see that on the schedule and the possible trade as well. That is awesome. Um, Going back to our dashboard view, if we scroll down to the recent activity, this is so great. If we tap into this arrow, is it going to take us to everything? So yeah, our trade request here and our denied request. So is this both for time off requests as well, or is this just for traded shifts?
So right now it's only got the trade requests in there, but literally as we speak, I've got developers in the room across from me. They're working on adding more enhancements to this. So in a future app update, this will also show you any activity on your time off or availability requests. You'll be able to go in here and see the details of what happened with that request that I made.
That
And
is
so there's,
awesome.
again, we're trying to reduce the need for employees to keep bothering their managers, asking questions. The answer should always be in Jolt.
I love this. And I like the fact that you can actually see the reason given. And then if you click that, okay, I understand, it also, I think, would allow your manager to know that that message has been received. This is great. I'm so excited for you guys to get your hands on this if you haven't already kind of seen it. This is really awesome. So these work pickup extra hours. If I have, because I know before trading of shifts could have been a little complex. If I was already scheduled to work, maybe I picked up a shift at the same time. Is that going to be the case with these extra hours, or is this something that is like congruent with like what we already have scheduled?
Yeah, so for both shift trades and pickups, we have built in tools to avoid employees creating conflicts for themselves. So you can't request a pickup that's going to conflict with a schedule that you already have. You can't request a trade that's going to result in a conflict for you or for your coworker. So
Wow.
on the dashboard, it's only going to show you shifts that are available to pick up that work with your schedule. If there are other shifts that are available to pick up, but they don't work with your schedule, you would still be able to browse those using the arrows. And that way, if something with your schedule change, you can still see what's available. You've got the matches and the all section there, right? So there's everything. But that way you know what's out there, what's available, but it makes it really easy for you to just pick up the shifts that work for you.
That is going to solve everyone's headaches. I think no one needs to get their major bottles of like Tylenol and ibuprofen anymore. I think this is fantastic. Because when I was working in the restaurants, I always saw extra shifts, but then I didn't have my schedule in front of me or I didn't have my phone. So I didn't know what was available. And I would just pick up shifts and my manager's like, hey, hold on, slow down. You're already working. So I think this is really cool that it's in a digital format for the employees to see.
The other
Oh,
piece,
yeah,
by the way, just the other piece that's new compared to the old Jolt Light app, you can now publish shifts that aren't assigned to anybody. And before, the old Jolt Light app would just ignore those. But now those open shifts, those unassigned shifts will show up here in the pickup section. So
that's amazing.
you can publish them as unassigned and let employees pick them up. So you don't have to worry about optimizing for who to assign those shifts to if they're the types of shifts that they're more flexible and you just want to make it easy for your staff.
A little extra coverage. That is fantastic. I like the fact that they will also show up there. So you can actually request those if needed. So when you make a request or to pick it up, you just are going to click on this green plus sign. And then from here, you just request that pickup, and it still gives you the fact that this is a 5-hour shift where you're working, the register, and you can request that pickup. I'm actually going to do that. So then our manager can probably see something as well. Cool. And then you can also go back in and cancel. So if you might have, clumsy fumsied that, you can always go back and cancel if needed.
Yeah, so once you do that request, that will, and whether it's a pickup request, time off, availability, whatever the request is, that's going to be able to trigger notifications for managers who have those notifications on in their app. And so they could see those requests coming in and they could see that they're available to approve and deny.
Awesome. Wow. Real time. We love that. We love real time things. And then last thing on this, just the dashboard view, we have that time off request. It looks like this is already a pending request from the 19th to the 22nd of August. And then you can also kind of view all of your time off requests. So if I were to just click on that arrow, it will show, it looks like it's going to show me the pending review. If you needed to make a new time off request, and I'm actually going to hold off on this until our next view and then look at our past here. But this is really awesome. If you needed to cancel it, you can just click on it and then make an adjustment if needed, or is it the 3 dots?
Yeah, if you do the 3 dots there, you should be able to either edit or delete.
Awesome. Great. Well, this dashboard, I think, is going to be employees' number one friend. So this is a great start for this new scheduling experience. And then we have some other views down here at the bottom, 2 other views for our employees, I should say. So we have our dashboard, that calendar, and availability. So I'm going to click on this calendar view, Michael. And then from here, what do we have on this page? What is this calendar view?
Yeah, so this is a way to look at the whole schedule, not just your own schedule. And there's different views. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it'll adapt based on you and your permissions and what settings your manager has set for your account. So some managers will let employees see the whole schedule. Some managers will want to limit that. So again, depending on what settings you have, this will adapt. And then you've got 3 different main ways of viewing this: the role view, the name view, and the time view.
Love that. So this is our role view here. So it's going to show us the roles and the shifts, and then the name, the employees' names. So once again, like you said, if they are having that shared schedule view or just their own, they would see that here. And then the time, I like this. This is cool. What is going on with this red line? What does this mean?
Yeah, so this view, we in our research as we were interviewing managers, one pain point that came up a lot was how do I easily see who's coming in next and who's leaving?
Oh,
And
I've heard that one before.
yeah, so this time view is super useful for that because you got that red line. So you know any shifts after that are people that their shift hasn't started. So they're not here yet, but they should be coming in.
That's
Any
awesome.
shifts before that are people that should already be here, right? So
Yeah.
you could come here and go, okay, there's Josue. Maybe he's not here yet. I need to give him a text or a call, right? Start figuring out what to do. And speaking of that, kind of no show or late show situation, um, this these different views are optimized again to be able to help managers make decisions. And so we all know that if you've managed a schedule long enough, not everything always goes perfectly according to plan, right? People don't show up. What you forecasted in sales isn't exactly correct. You've got different needs in different areas. So you got to make adjustments on the fly. And these different views can really help because in the role view, you can see immediately who's under each role and know like, okay, I've got two people on the register and I can afford to take a shift lead and put them on the register, right? And then the name view is going to help you if you're looking for a specific person. Hey, what's the details with their shift, right? There's Josue's shift, especially for employees if they're looking for a specific person to trade shifts with. And then that time view, like we mentioned, is just a way to see, okay, what's going on next and who's supposed to already be here. So all
Awesome.
these different views to really help you manage and make adjustments on the fly that will optimize your business so that you get the right coverage where you need it.
That's fantastic. And I like the fact that this is both at not only the employee level view, but we'll also look at this at the manager level view. So I think it makes it very cut and dry, very clear to everyone working what the expectation is. So I really enjoy that. I think that'll be really helpful. Okay, last but not least for our employees, we have availability. Oh my goodness. I love availability. I am so excited to talk about this, Michael. I know from just being on the customer success side of things, the availability piece was always slightly a little tricky or a little off. There's always some kind of confusion. So with this, what is the newest update with availability that is in this new app experience versus what our customers have previously been using or haven't used?
Yeah, great question. So I'll say right off the bat, the new availability will likely be an adjustment for our existing customers who've already gotten really used to the current system. But the good news is the new availability is a lot easier to get used to than the old system. So new customers, we've done a lot of testing and we've got a lot of data showing that this is much easier for them to understand and adopt. And the best part is it's self-cleaning, it's self-maintaining. So we had two big challenges with the old availability. First was the fact that you used to only be able to put in when you were unavailable, which
Hmm.
depending on the employee's mental model and how their brain works, right? That could be difficult for some people to wrap their minds around, especially when you hire a new employee. You don't usually sit down and say, okay, tell me when you're unavailable. It's usually, hey, let's figure out when you are available to work. Tell me when you can work.
So
So
true.
we're starting with that same paradigm. Hey, when are you available? So we're going to ask the employee to tell us when they're available. And any times they don't indicate, we're going to assume they're unavailable. The default is that they're always available. So they have to specifically say, okay, I can't work Tuesdays at this time. It still has that same functionality of defaulting you to always available. But it's just an easier mental model for employees. The second piece that was challenging with our old style was that employees would just submit request after request and they wouldn't
Oh,
go back
yes.
to manage their old requests. So they'd end up, saying they're unavailable at all sorts of dates and times. And as a manager, if you didn't stay on top of it, you didn't know what was truth and what what request is actually relevant. Is that old request still relevant? You had to talk to the employee. You had to go back and delete those requests. So the whole idea of this new system is we ask you when you're available, when does this availability start, and if you schedule a new one, then the old one is going to be deactivated. So we always get a
That's great.
snapshot of your true availability and when it is effective, right? So you've got your weekly hours here. You can see available all day except Thursday's the only day you've got partial availability from 8 to 4:30. We know your whole availability right off the bat, but we also know you've got a new update to your availability starting on May 20th that's already been approved, and you can see exactly what's changed. So once we hit May 20th, the current availability that we see up above is going to go away. So you don't have to worry about what's relevant and what's not. You're always going to have your source of truth for what people's availability actually is.
This is game changing. I'm not going to lie. I've had so many customers be like, this is a mess. What do I do? And you have to kind of backtrack, go back and find the newest updated availability. This self-cleaning option that we have going on is going to be fabulous. I do like the fact that you can see that current and then also the new availability. And something that I'm really enjoying is that it's, taking this off of the manager's plate and making the employee really make those updates. I think that's going to be so great for all of our users who are going to hopefully start using our scheduler a little bit more advanced. This is great. Something I'm noticing here, we actually have, what is this little star icon? There looks like something is different from our current. Now, Tuesday is our change that we've started on May 20th, but we have that little star icon. What does that mean, Michael?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, if you go in there, actually it is easiest if you go in here, go ahead and set a new date for your availability.
Okay, we'll say July.
Yep. And so this will be self-learning as employees do this. So there you go, right there. By the star, it says preferred. So what that means is whoever set this availability up marked that that's actually a shift they prefer to work, is the 8 to 4 p.m. shift on Tuesdays. So they hit that star to mark it as preferred. This is now an optional feature. So you can turn this off in your settings. If you don't want to have employees communicating when they prefer to work, you can turn that off. Now, the old system lets you create conflicts. You could say I was unavailable and preferred at the same time. The new system doesn't do that. So if you've shied away from the preferred because of issues like that in the past, maybe try it out now. Because the new system, you can only mark preferred on days and times that you're available. And it's just a way for employees to say, hey, I am available all of these days and times, but of that, these are some shifts that I prefer to work. So if you can accommodate those, that would be nice. They'll highlight in green those dates and times on the schedule builder. And there's a legend so you can see, okay, that's a preferred shift for Joey. I can schedule him at that time and he's going to be happy about that.
That's so
Again,
cool.
optional feature, you can turn it off if you don't like it.
That is so cool because I do know for like firsthand that those preferred times did kind of cause a little bit of chaos for some people. They're like, what is happening? You should just be available on these days, but this is going to be so great. I like the fact that it is also optional because not every Jolt user is going to want to have preferred scheduling. So I do like the fact that that is an option within their settings in the web portal. I think that's going to be really great. Um, so with this, I'm actually not going to make a change here, but I can see I can delete this if needed, or should I just click back? What is a good way to get out of this view?
Yeah, this is just a test account, so you can go ahead and just delete it.
Great. We'll delete that update.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. So if we were to also see, we have our time off. So it looks like we can do time off both from the dashboard and your availability option. So I think that's a really good two for one, if you will. You can do it right when you log in, or if you want to kind of update your availability. Michael, anything change really when we make a time off request? Is there anything different, or is it just a little bit more user friendly?
Yeah, so in all of our research, the time off was working really well for the vast majority of our customers. So the functionality is pretty much the same. It's just updated design. It's a little bit more user friendly. The real nice piece here is we tell you up front how many days advance notice you need to give, so employees don't need to ask, well, hey, how come I can't request time off? That's a setting that you have. You can block days. You can actually block holidays from anyone requesting time off. And all of that is going to be explained to the employee in the app when they go to request time off. They'll see, hey, this has been blocked by the manager. So they'll get more understanding than they were able to get before about, why they're not unable to do certain things. And then we've also just made it easier for them to put the reason in. They can one tap for the most common reasons that employees request time off, instead of having to type that out on their keyboard. So really, I
Very
like
cool.
what you said earlier. You talked about putting the burden more on the employees and less on the managers. That is a big theme here, is we're trying to, the easier we make it for employees, and we've seen this in the data, that as when you make it easier for the employees are more likely to do it and do it correctly. And that saves the managers a lot of time and headaches. Because we all know that getting a lot of different employees to adopt technology can be difficult. So ease of use is just a key principle that we're going for here. And this is just another example of one tap to set your reason. And the employee is more likely to use this again and use it correctly because it was easy.
I love that. I personally am like, if it's hard for me to do, I'm probably not going to do it. But this is so user friendly. I like the fact that you did have those um, options here. I mean, if I can just tap on something versus typing out a giant reason, I think that's awesome. And then you can just click submit that request, and then it's just going to show in your pending. This is really cool. I like this a lot. Um, moving right along, I want to kind of now pivot, if we will, over to like what a manager is going to see. We just walked through a ton of usage for the employee side, making it easier for them to kind of see the visuals of this new app experience of the scheduler. But now let's kind of see what a manager is going to look like from all of these requests that our employees are going to do. So I'm just going to log out, and then I'm going to log back in as one of my managers, Miss Christina. And then, okay, this is great. So looking at this, Michael, everything looks pretty much the exact same. It looks like it's their personal view on the dashboard. It looks like they have even their approved time off in here as well. And then that calendar view, it looks like this is the exact same, just, showing both employee and manager side of our schedules, that name and time difference as well. And then managers putting in their availability. So I see something is slightly different. We have 3 views versus that 2 different views that we saw in the employee. So Michael, what is this employee availability here?
Yeah, so yeah, like you mentioned, the dashboard, the calendar view, those will all adapt to the manager, but the functionality is pretty much the same. Once you get to availability and time off, you'll have this option to manage availability and time off for your employees. So if you hit that employee availability, it'll pull up a list of your employees, and you can check on any employee's availability. There's Ada's availability right there, and you can make updates right here. So we all know that employees don't always do it correctly. As we're trying to make this as easy as possible, that's going to greatly increase the amount of times employees do it correctly, which will take more burden off the managers. But there's always going to be cases where an employee didn't get it right and something's messed up, and managers, oftentimes their best course of action to resolve the issue quickly is to just go do it themselves. So we've made that as easy and as simple as possible as well. So you can just come in here and manage availability for your employees.
I love this because there is always that one who always struggles just a little bit to follow directions. Um, but maybe this is like a camping trip that Ada forgot to put in, and she was like, "Hey, can you put this in?" and then submit that availability. So that is there, and it is automatically approved. So that is quite cool from the manager perspective. So besides just like to reiterate, managers, you can do your time off and your availability, and then that employee availability is in that middle. So that's really helpful. And now I'm looking at this really fun thumbs up, Michael. This manage tab, this has never existed before. So I'm really excited to see what this is about. It's different from the web portal. It's different from that previous Jolt Light view. What is this new tab?
Yeah, so previously in Jolt Light for managers, they had to go to different places to manage time off, to manage availability, to manage shift trades. We now have that all in one place. So all the requests that a manager has to deal with are on this manager page. So when a manager logs in, they've got that manage page. There's a red dot if there's anything new that they haven't seen yet. And they've got all these filters. So if they know that they want to that Joey's bugging them about a shift trade, right? They can filter down to Joey. They can filter to shift trades. They can find what they're looking for really easily. And then once you actually go into a request, so yep, you've got Ada's request here. She's got a pickup request. You see the details and you can approve or deny and make that decision. And then once you make that decision, that's going to send notifications to the employee, or if there are multiple employees, everyone's going to get a notification about that decision.
That's great. And how is that notification going to pull through? Is that a push notification? Is that a text? How is that notification going to the employee?
Yeah, so it's going to be a push notification directly to their device if they have the Jolt app installed and they have their notifications on.
Cool.
Obviously, not everybody wants to get those notifications, so they can turn their notifications off. Work-life balance is a real thing, and
Yes.
so that's going to be their choice. But they do have if they have the Jolt app on their phone, it'll send that push notification, whether it's iOS, Android. They'll get a notification about the decision. They'll also see the update on their dashboard in that recent activity section that we looked at earlier.
Very cool. I like this. I like the fact that you have the sorting options of maybe like, our test employee here, Ada, has just been requesting so many things. You can also filter that real time, see what exactly they're trading, maybe have those one-to-one conversations of, hey, what's going on? You're trading a lot of shifts, or you're taking a lot of time. What's going on there? I really also like the fact that you can filter this down by the trade shifts that are needing to be done, any pickup of shift trades, and then the time off and availability. I think that is really cool that you have those options. Now, Michael, something that you can do on the web portal is if I were to deny a request on the web portal, I could always go back and reapprove that. Is there a way to do that on the app as well, or is that specifically just going to be on the web portal?
Yeah, so you've got your filter on for availability. So let's take that availability filter off. And then if you click on deny tab at the top, this will be all requests that you've denied. And
Great.
so you can look at the details of those, right? And you can even see who denied it. If you've got multiple managers, that was a pain point in the past is people say, well, I don't know who made the decision here. Well, now you can see exactly who denied it, when they denied it, and you can change that decision if you just, fat fingered it, or if you got new information. Right now, we don't have the ability to change the decision in this app version, but that is coming very soon, I believe in the next app version. But if you really need to do it, you can still do it on the web portal.
Very cool.
Also, you can wait for the next app release, which is
Coming out soon. Well, that's awesome. I like the fact that you can put those trades, like make the approval or denial switch if needed, and that you can also still help out your employees if needed as a manager. I think this is phenomenal. I am really liking just the overall design. It's simple but effective. And for me, who I work for a tech company, but things can be tricky in tech, I think this is really easy to kind of maneuver around and to have a good user experience. So I'm really excited for you guys to be able to update your apps and make sure that you have this version. um, that is going to be it for our presentation today. So I kind of wanted to hit some of our questions if we had any. It looks like several were getting answered during our presentation, and I would love to just be able to talk a little bit more. It looks like, can I drop or pick up a shift on behalf of an employee, or would it be better to just change the schedule?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it's typically better just to go in and change the schedule. It depends a little bit on the situation. Um, if the shift is farther out in the future, you could just drop that shift and you would be able to well, yeah, we actually don't have the ability to go in and technically act as that employee and drop the shift. Instead, what you would do is just unassign it. You'd unassign it, and then it would be the same result. That shift would be open and available for anybody to pick up. Um, if that shift is in the future and you have time for people to see that it's available now, and they can go in and pick that up, great. But sometimes you're crunched for time and you don't have that luxury, and it's better just to try and find someone else to cover the shift and try and reassign it. So that's up to you. Either way, you have the tools to do it. And we are currently looking at adding in a tool to prioritize shifts. So let's say you've got a shift that is urgent to pick up. Maybe you've got 20 open shifts, but there's one coming up tomorrow that you're like, hey, somebody really needs to pick this up. We're looking at a way for you to be able to prioritize that so it shows up first for employees and maybe they even get notifications about it. Just
Oh,
again,
wow.
trying to make that process as easy as possible for managers.
That's awesome. I like getting some insider knowledge on our webinar series. That's exciting. So keep an eye out for that, you guys. Just a few more questions here. And then actually, will be our last one because we're a little short on time for you guys. Can I use my existing people and roles set up from our checklist with scheduling, or is it a separate model or module, excuse me?
Great question. This is the big advantage of going with Jolt for your various operational and labor management needs. It's because it all is built off the same platform, and so the roles and settings they apply across the board. So you don't have to change anything. It's going to come out of the box. All your roles that are available for lists, you'll have settings on them. You could say, hey, I don't want to use this one for scheduling, but by default, it'll be available for you to use.
Great. Okay, that is awesome. I am seeing that our other questions are being tackled right now. But I just wanted to thank you all for joining us today on our webinar for this new schedule feature. I would like to invite you all, if you have any further questions, get in a hold of your customer success manager. Schedule a call, get more in-depth training if you need to. If you have never utilized our scheduler, let's get in touch. Once again, reach out to your success manager. We can make sure that that is something we can add to your Jolt accounts and get a demo going. I mean, you guys just saw a little demo here, but if we wanted to get a little more information, we can do that. And then we can have our implementation team even step in if needed. Michael, I appreciate your time today. You have been the most insightful person to have on this series with me. And everyone, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye.